Welcome to the AFD Cycling Podcast. This is cycling from an Irish perspective, and in today's episode, this is the Tour de France preview for the 2025 edition of the biggest race in the world. So obviously the Maillot jaune, the yellow jersey, the most cherished jersey of all the four jerseys in this race. Well, obviously if we were to put on a grid, as I have done here, probably the top 5 competitors for the overall. Obviously, Tadje Pogacar of UAE Emirates XRG, the world champion, last year's winner of this race, would have to be first. Then Jonas Vingegaard, the Dane from Team Visma Lease bike, who came second in last year's edition of this race as well. And Remco Evenepoel looks a strong bet for the top 5 as well. Not performing probably to his best in the Criterium de Dauphiné, but we'll have to see how he does throughout the 2 time trials in this race. And the Slovenian Primož Roglič did not finish the race last year. He crashed out midway through the race, and obviously then didn't get a time, didn't finish the race. So a renewed prospect for Primož Roglič to come back and attempt to conquer the Tour. And last year's 4th place, the teammate of Tadje Pogacar, Joao Almeida, really strong in the Tour de Suisse this year. A lot of questions asked. Will he even have the chance to get free rein, or will it be all in for Tadje once again? Those questions will be answered quite soon in this tour, but for now we just have to wait and wonder. And the green jersey, the Maillot Vert, probably the most anticipated of all the jerseys to be fought over. 3 really big names, actually 4 really big names in there from the top 4 that I've listed there. Jasper Philipsen, Tim Merlier, Biniam Girmay, and Johnny Milan. Johnny Milan has never raced the Tour before, and this will be his first time to try and get the green jersey. He raced very strong in his previous races this season. The Criterium de Dauphiné, stage 2, he won that stage and took the yellow jersey into stage 3. Biniam Girmay, last year's winner of the green jersey, probably not as strong as he was last year. I'd be thinking Jonathan Milan or Tim Merlier, the European champion, would be the best bets for that jersey. But Jasper Philipsen has been about around there, but he hasn't pulled much results out of the bag this year. Pretty quiet year for Jasper Philipsen in terms of how he was coming into previous editions of this race before taking and winning the jersey. So questions gonna be asked, I suppose. Also will go in favour of Jasper Philipsen if Mathieu van der Poel is leading him out. But he's on the start list. One would assume that's going to be Alpecin's tactic once again, because it worked very well for them in previous years of this race. I think it was in 2023. Yeah, it would have been 2023, I think, that they had numerous successes with Mathieu van der Poel leading out Jasper Philipsen. And that year he ended up winning the green jersey. And yeah, Tim Merlier, strong as well. The only time we saw him and Jonathan Milan going head to head on a lot of days was the UAE Tour at the very start of the season. So very hard to tell from that many months ago how the form will be into the Tour. And then the last on the list, Dylan Groenewegen. Well, it's more than a stone's throw away for form for Dylan Groenewegen to those 4 on the list. He he wouldn't be as strong as the other four by a long way, but still could have the speed to pull off a win, as he did last year with the 3D printed nose cover on his glasses. Sean will probably say that's what gave him the advantage for the win. But Team Jayco Alula don't really have many options into this race, sprinter-wise. And then for their GC, obviously Eddie Dunbar and Ben O'Connor are going to be what they're looking for. But really hard to see him troubling Phillipson, Merlier and Girmay and that type of riders, because they just seem so strong. For the U classification here, I just have what I think could be the top 5 by the end of the race in that classification. Very hard to tell with the U classification as well, because some of the riders on this list aren't, well, one of the riders on this list isn't even going for general classification, going for breakaways. Oscar Onley, the foot rider on the list there for Team Picnic posted out. He isn't even going for those big mountain stages with the GC group. He's going to be trying to go off and away, the likes of Ben Healy and maybe Leonard Van Eetveld. But Remco Evenepoel, Lenny Martinez, Ivan Romeo and Florian Lipovitz, they're certainly going to be trying very, very hard. Every day the GC battle is going on. Remco Evenepoel fell to Florian Lipovitz in the Criterion de Dauphiné, but I sense that the tables will be turned as we come to the Tour. I don't think Lipovitz will be able to carry that same amount of form. I'd say he'll be working for Primo Roglic come the start of the race. Ivan Romeo had a good, strong Criterion de Dauphiné stage win on stage 3, I think it was, and he had the yellow jersey for the time trial. Good, strong race for him. And Lenny Martinez won the last stage of the Criterion de Dauphiné, finishing it out, showing his form. Beating Tadje and Vingegaard, although they were a bit off him, I believe, in that stage. That he's shown he has the form he can climb. The French will certainly be hoping he can do well. And it looks like France's hopes for GC lie without a French team, with Bahrain victorious, the team from Bahrain in the Middle East, because I don't see the Groupama FDJ riders really challenging for the yellow jersey. And then our riders, the Irish riders, only 2 of them in this year's edition in the race, but 2 very strong Irish riders going in here. Ben Healy, possible KOM contender, definite breakaway contender anyway, for EF Education Easy Post. They're one of those notorious teams in getting into breakaways, along with the likes of Lotto and like Total Energy. Those are big teams for breakaway days. Obviously, they have GC ambitions as well with Richard Carapaz, and possible GC ambitions for Ben Healy as well. But we'll have to see. And then Eddie Dunbar, 2 stage wins in his last Grand Tour, the Vuelta, won the Queen's stage and stage 11. And he had a good, strong start to the Criterion de Dauphiné, but had a poor finish. And we're all hoping here in Ireland that Eddie Dunbar and Team Jayco Alula give him the go-ahead to be a team leader. But obviously he could end up being the super domestique for Ben O'Connor, who did so well in that Vuelta as well, while he was with the Catalan Agitador La Mondial. And that's the only 2 Irish riders who are going to be coming into this year's race. Obviously, Rory Townsend, the newly crowned Irish national champion, not participating in this race because Q36.5 didn't make the cut, I don't believe. And Ryan Mullen new time trial champion for the Republic of Ireland, missing the Tour as well. So the first stage of this race is a flat stage. Very, very good chance for one of those sprinters in the aforementioned page I had about the sprinters to seize the yellow jersey, because if they do not, stage 2 is not looking very promising for them. The route flat and 3 categorised climbs, all category 4 climbs, and a category 4 climb means in the King of the Mountains classification there's 1 point for the first rider to the top in each climb. So the maximum points to be scored in this stage is 3, but 2 or even 1 could be enough to take the King of the Mountains jersey, polka dot jersey, and hard to see them keeping it though after stage 2. The rider that takes the jersey, if they do not go for the breakaway on stage 2, which is a much hillier stage. The favourites for this stage, as I said, Jonathan Milan, Tim Merlier, Dylan Groenewegen, Biniam Girmay and Jasper Philipsen, probably the big 5 names there. And then, as I said, probably a bigger even 4 names. So yeah, it all hangs in the balance really. Could be sketchy into the finish, and hopefully everybody gets through the day safely. But yeah, there's also an intermediate sprint on the route offering 20 points, but the winner of the intermediate sprint will probably not pull on the green jersey at the end of the day, because the intermediate sprint awards 20 points for the first rider, where the finish awards 50 points toward the green jersey classification for the first rider. And here are the numerous kit changes of this year. UAE XRG going from their white with black shoulders, fading up from black at the bottom to a copper green, blending in with their white. Vive Release bike, long release that jersey is. The Swarm, I think they're calling the jersey, and it has the names of people who pre-ordered the jersey on those yellow bands. It's loads of names. Good idea for the team to make some moolah. And yeah, sure, the fans now can say, my name was on the jersey that Jonas wore, that Wout wore, Jorgensen wore, so they'll be very happy with that. Ineos Grenadiers. Now, you might spot this, that the Total Energy logo, this multicoloured key, is also on the jersey that's in the bottom left. So the jersey in the bottom left is the Total Energy team. And Total Energy have obviously decided, right, we're not making enough money out of sponsoring our team, so we're going to reach out to Ineos and plant ourselves in the middle of their jersey. So Ineos Grenadiers are still going to be called Ineos Grenadiers throughout this race, but Total Energies have just planted themselves on the middle of that jersey. I suppose good way to get sponsorship really. The only difference to the jersey before the tour is the white, and then the Total Energy logo, it was just fully red down there, following the same pattern as from the top to the bottom. And yeah, it's I wonder if the white will be on the back as well, because that might help it you be able to pick out the Ineos jersey to the Lotto jersey, because a band of white would certainly be very distinctive from the air, from the helicopter shot. Red Bull wore Hansgrohe, so they're after completely ditching their white-black for this tour. So they're working in phases toward white. Last year for the tour and then on, they were in a fully black kind of navy maybe jersey. And now, at the start of the season, they were in a partially black, partially white jersey, and now they're to the fully white jersey. But it is multicolored lines running through it. Actually, a very nice jersey. Distinctive, yes, but probably too alike the Total Energy jersey, and you'd have to hope that you'd be able to really see the difference between the sponsor colours, the red, black and green, whereas it's like bright colours for the Total Energy, but possible confusion for people watching that those jerseys are very alike. And Groupama FTJ, their 3-year running design has been thrown out the metaphorical window here, because they have changed the kit for like the first time in, I think it's the 3rd year running that they've had the same kit. And so yeah, bringing back maybe partially the good old days of the one blue shoulder, one red shoulder and a white down the middle. Well, it's fully blue and fading to a darker blue, and then the one red shoulder, as you can see. Nice design, distinctive as well, so interesting to see will their helmets be white, because make the team even more distinctive on the road, and that's probably what they're aiming for, I suppose, get them seen. Total Energy, we already talked about them. They just changed the design into like a checkered flag with their colours, the multicolours there. Very nice design. Not very different from the overall. Like someone who hadn't even seen this coming into it and saw on the road, they know it was Total Energy. Like very, very alike. Like nearly no difference to it. Israel Premier Tech. Very different jersey. So the pink, the blue, and the dark blue. Probably a never seen before type of jersey, I'd say, and probably a never want to be seen again jersey. I don't think this jersey is gonna hit. Not like the pink of EF. It's been there too long. You have to be gotten rid of. But Israel here, going away from their white, black, and I think they have a slight bit of maroon on the jersey as well, with some purple on the original jersey. But this now jersey, gonna stand out, but not my favourite of all the new jerseys. And Lotto, following the exact same way of Total Energy. Well, nearly more following the exact same way of Ineos. Just stick an extra sponsor on there and we'll be grand. Because Caps was not on the jersey, but now it is. So that's the only change to the jersey. Exact same colour, exact same everything. So yeah, all these jerseys now, hopefully when you're watching the tour, you'll see a jersey that you didn't know, but now you'll know, oh, that's Groupama or that's Red Bull, and no confusion trying to find out what team's up the road when you're watching. So yeah, as Tadje said, vive le tour, vive la France, and enjoy watching the tour, and see you from the AFD Cycling Podcast. I will possibly be doing live streams of like commentary for people who aren't able to like watch the finish of a day, so you can like listen into that. Episodes recounting every day of what's going on, who's in the jersey, big GC changes, all that. And also, yeah, if you do not have TNT Sports and you want to watch the Tour de France here in Ireland, just go on to TG Car Player. It's on there for free. No need to be dodgy and download a VPN or anything. It's on there for free. Learn a bit of extra Irish while you're at it. And guys, just enjoy the tour. See yous.